Hello everyone. Please stand as Cadet Jason Roy will now lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Forward, march.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Keegan O'Connor. This year I was the president of the Brewster High School chapter of the National Honor Society. Thank you all for coming tonight as we induct the class of 2019 and recognize the class of 2018 on their achievements and contributions to this club, school, and community. This year was a record-breaking year for the Brewster NHS. We had a total of 76 members. Some notable accomplishments of the club this year include raising almost $900 through a loose change drive for Putnam Cap to help families during Thanksgiving, which is almost more than double what was raised last year. We ran a fundraiser for American Heart Association during February and organized and hosted the spring blood drive with the New York Blood Center that collected over 80 pints of blood. As a whole club, we completed 700 hours of community service and 1,400 hours of peer tutoring. Members participated in a wide variety of community service, both in and out of school, doing things like helping at community soup kitchens, teaching religious education classes at local churches, aiding Mr. Douglas here in the high school in the GED program, helping out at JFK during the school day, organizing a program to provide food for weekends and days off to elementary school students who use the free lunch program, and even building schools and houses in other states and countries over the summer. This organization is all about helping others, something that can't be forgotten in the shuffle of craziness the world is becoming. If I can speak frankly, things seem pretty dismal sometimes. Watching the news is usually more demoralizing than it is informative, and it seems like there are more problems than we are capable of solving. Sometimes it seems easier to not care than to try and decipher what issues are worthy of your attention. The world's problems are slightly overwhelming, to say the least. And I won't pretend this small club, at this small school, in this small town, is going to change the world. But that doesn't make it a lost cause or a fruitless effort. Kindness and decency will never be useless. There is still so much value and importance in helping people, even on a smaller level. Helping another student pass their math test, or raising money so a less fortunate family can buy Thanksgiving dinner, or serving soup at your church on the weekends, still has a positive effect that can really make a difference in someone's life. Today, we will be inducting 74 students for the class of 2019. Hopefully, as a group, you can achieve even more than we have in every way. Raise more money for worthy causes, participate in even more community service, and tutor even more kids. In order to be accepted into the National Honor Society, students had to demonstrate their character, leadership, service, and scholarship through the application process. The students sitting here in the front rows are some of the brightest Brewster has to offer, and through their high school careers, they have held leadership positions in clubs and on sports teams, contributed to their community, and exemplified good character on a daily basis. In honor of their success, I would now light the candle of knowledge. The next speaker will be our corresponding secretary, Susan Adieye, who will speak about the next pillar of NHS. Congratulations, inductees, and good luck in your senior year.
Your character and leadership skills are often noticed when those are looking and studying. Your character is always ready to be recognized, evaluated, and judged. Your character is what brought you here today, so congratulations to you all. But like many say, your character is not only who you are in open doors, in classrooms, or around important people. Your character is who you are when no one but you is around. In a world filled with many races, religions, political affiliations, and philosophies, Your character is the identity you created at some point in time when your parents stopped attending to you meticulously and you became a young adult. We are all different, each and every one of us, but let me explain to you how your specific character is beneficial to our society. You are intelligent. You have proved that you are able to work hard and stay driven academically even when social conflicts arise. You are generous. You are willing to give back to your family, friends, and community for the greater good. You are motivated. Throughout high school, you didn't let a subject or teacher stop you from being here today, and you continue to stay driven in all advancements to your education and personal being. Most importantly, you are a leader. You are now leaders of your class, destined to set an example of what exemplary individuals should look like in today's world. Your application was only a process for this title, but today the real work begins. Let your character you exemplify in open doors be the character you exemplify in closed ones. You must stand strong for those who are weak and remain humble. A leader sets precedent. If there is no pathway, create one. If there is an obstacle, challenge it. Life will not be easy, and I'm sure your parents can testify to it, but they will tell you they did not give up. A leader does not give up. Our generation will one day run for office, help find a cure for a disease, and maybe even put man on Mars. It is never too late to start networking, collaborating, and becoming a critical thinker. We must grow and become more understanding of different cultures, socioeconomic groups, and many other assets that shape who we are as individuals. In order to make one big difference, we must appreciate our individual differences first. And from that, you will never stop learning and you will never stop thinking. Your character and leadership skills are often noticed when those are looking and studying. But a true leader knows they don't need someone watching for them to be one. I would now light the candles for both character and leadership. Next, our Vice President, David Domino, will be speaking for our Treasurer, Brendan Brooks, on our next pillar.
Hello, everyone. My name is David Domino, and I'm reading on behalf of this year's publicist, Autumn Gerard, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. She writes, "Each pillar is just as valuable and necessary as the next one. None of them exist in a vacuum. They are all dependent upon one another in order to create a holistic student, learner, person, and scholar. Scholarship is not just the grades and volunteer hours that secured you a spot in the National Honor Society. Scholarship is what you do with that spot. Scholarship is evidence not only in your aptitude of learning in the traditional sense, but in the ways you allow other aspects of your life to be elaborations of the traits that you bring to here today. Scholarship is not concrete. It is incredibly abstract. It is granular. Everyday practice in this way, scholarship is a vehicle for truth. I don't imagine we all hold ourselves to any stigma standard of journalistic integrity, but we do internalize it, hold and share the truths in a way that lend itself to collective understanding and betterment. The most important truth I can share with you all right now, as you prepare to either move into or on from NHS, is that scholarship is not static. Your scholarship will not be confined to your time in the National Honor Society, nor in Brewster High School. Your scholarship has carried you into NHS and will carry you far beyond it as well. What you do with this platform you're being given is what will define you. With that, I want to thank you, and I will now light the candle of scholarship. Next, our Secretary, Aaron Clark, will speak on our next pillar.
The dedication to service doesn't start or end with a ceremony such as this one. The dedication to service is a special flame that is in each NHS member's heart. It burns bright regardless of its recognition and stays illuminated long after graduation. Each of you are sitting here tonight because you have taken your light time after time and given it back to the world. The path that you are on is a bright one, and the best advice I have for you is to grasp all the opportunities to help others that NHS will have, and
be a part of upholding the reputation of Brewster High School's National Honor Society. I promise they'll truly make your life brighter. Every single person can make a difference in this world. All you need to have is the willingness to do so. In a few hours, days, weeks, and months, you'll probably forget most of the details of tonight, so all I ask is that you keep this quote in the back of your mind for safekeeping. A candle is a small thing, but one candle can light another, and as it gives its flame to another, see how its own light increases. Light is the power to dispel darkness. You have this power to move back the darkness in yourself and in others with the birth of the light created when one mind illuminates another, when one heart kindles another, when one man strengthens another, and its flame also enlarges within you as you pass it on. Thank you and congratulations on becoming a member of the National Honor Society. I'll now light the candle of service. At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Horler, who will give some remarks.
I welcome each of you and congratulate you on this very special evening. I would also like to recognize each of the parents here this evening that have assisted the students with guidance and support throughout their educational career. Congratulations to you. The National Honor Society is the nation's premier organization established to recognize outstanding high school students. More than just an honor roll, it is the National Honor Society that serves to honor those students who have demonstrated excellence in the areas of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. These characteristics have been associated with membership since 1921. To be considered for membership, the National Honor Society students must meet very rigorous standards and follow all 4 criteria for selection that form the foundation of the Honor Society, which is scholarship, service, leadership, and character. The National Honor Society chapter here at Brewster High School serves to distinguish those students who have shown excellence in areas of academics, volunteerism, and co-curricular activities. Membership not only honors students for their many accomplishments, but challenges students to develop through active involvement and civic engagement. At Brewster High School, our National Honor Society creates an enthusiasm for learning and stimulates a desire to freely help others, promotes leadership skills, and develops a strong character. And that's what we see in every one of our candidates tonight. The National Honor Society is an organization that recognizes and encourages academic achievement while developing characteristics that's essential to citizens of a democracy. It is with tremendous enthusiasm that I congratulate each and every one of you on this very special induction. Congratulations.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Jamie Nooner Flanagan, and this is Elizabeth Ramirez, and we are the advisors for NHS. We'd like to offer a special welcome and thank you to the following people for joining us on stage tonight. Dr. Valerie Henning-Pima, Superintendent of Schools. Ms. Michelle Gosh, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. Ms. Kathleen Culligan, Director of Human Resources. Members of the Board of Education. Mrs. Nicole Horler, Principal of Brewster High School. Dr. Robin Young, Co-Principal of Brewster High School. Mrs. Danielle Sullivan, our Assistant Principal. Our colleague and keynote speaker, Ms. Anne-Marie McLeod. And our honorary inductees, Mrs. Patty Kaufman, Dr. Brittany Kozlenko, and Mrs. Janine Wool. Welcome to all of you, and many thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here with us tonight. To the juniors, congratulations. Tonight you are officially beginning your journey with the National Honor Society. NHS is a nationally recognized service organization. Our goal is to serve the Brewster High School community as well as Brewster itself. It's time for you to begin assuming the roles that our current seniors have served so well. As soon as AP exams finish, we will hold our first meeting. I look forward to working with you. We look forward to working with you and to seeing all of your achievements as NHS members.
To the senior members of NHS, congratulations and many thanks for all of your wonderful contributions. You have been a pleasure to work with, and so many in our community have benefited because of you. You have diligently and generously served as role models for others by providing tutoring and by assisting in numerous charities, organizations, and noble causes. And we would especially like to thank our officers, our leadership of NHS. You have been a privilege to work with. You've been dedicated, creative, productive, and you have embraced your leadership roles and accomplished many great things. Your positive energy and sincere goodwill have been instrumental in our organization's success. We would like to call each one of you up to receive your NHS membership card and pin. Each of your pins has the symbol of your office, which we hope you will wear on your robe when you graduate in June. First, Susan Adeyeye. Aaron Clark. Brendan Brooks can't be with us this evening. David Dimino. And Keegan O'Connor. And now we would like to invite Diana Limitone to introduce our keynote speaker.
If you're lucky enough to have had this teacher, you know what it feels like to be taught by a friend, a mother, a role model, and one of the most dedicated teachers here at Brewster High School. She understands that not every night goes as planned, so sometimes we may need the extra day on the homework assignment to get it completed. She is one of the few teachers who understands the immense amount of stress that we as students are constantly dealing with, and tries her best to listen to our problems and give us the most thoughtful solution she can think of right on the spot. And when you see her a few days later, her first questions are, how are you feeling? Are you less stressed than last time? This motherly worry and concern has made me feel like I matter to a teacher, not just my grades or how much I participate in their class, but that my well-being actually matters to them. Mrs. McLeod is truly one of the most influential and caring teachers that I've ever had here at Brewster High School, and it's with great honor that I get to introduce her as tonight's keynote speaker.
So good evening, everyone. I have to say, when I was invited to be the keynote speaker, I was shocked. Really shocked, because David asked me, and I think tears came into my eyes when he asked me, because some of them, and you may not know this, some of the seniors have actually had me 4 years in a row, and that is not easy to do. So I said, I actually talked to them about what could I possibly say tonight that would have meaning or that would speak to them or their experience. And they gave me 2 hints. So I took both of those and I thought a lot about my years here, because this is my last year here at Brewster. So it was particularly meaningful to me that David and everyone invited me to have this opportunity. So what I realized was we can look at tonight, the juniors and the seniors and the adults can look at this as an evening of individual achievement, or we can see it for what it really is. This is really about all of us, because none of us would be here without each of us. And one of the things that I realized was that we owe such a huge debt of gratitude to all of the people who are sitting back there, because you are the taxpayers of this district, and you make everything that we do here, everything that they do here, and that we do here, everything possible for us. And when I think, even tonight, coming into the pack, I was thinking, This is amazing because Mrs. Chalmers will be there regulating the sound and taking care of the lights. I thought how wonderful it is that we have this building to come into, and that you are going to be able to play on turf fields, and that we're going to have so many opportunities together. So I would like to invite the juniors, and I know I don't know all of you, but I'm going to ask you to please stand at this time. And the seniors, please stand. And I would like you to give a huge round of applause to everybody who's back there for everything they do for us. Thank you very much. So, the second thing was I really started to think about this in the way that we make choices every day. And I'm so conscious of the choices that our students make. And for all of you, because some of you do have me in AP US, and I know you do a lot of homework, but we make choices every day about how we do things. And so Jamie said to me, maybe I should use a story. And I said, okay. And I thought a lot about what story to tell. And this is what I would like to share with you on the idea of choice. And before I came here, I worked in New York City. And we were running a dance at the school where I was working. And it was, of course, on Friday night. And we had heard rumors that there was going to be some kind of difficulty or some sort of tension. So I had gone outside, and I had looked along our fence, which was on a city street, of course, and we found pipes, lead pipes that were like this big. I thought, that's not good. But we collected all of them. We went back inside. And about 11:30, when we were dismissing everyone, I said I should go out and check again. And I did go out, and across the street, bumper to bumper, side by side, there were cars everywhere in the street to pick up their children. And I thought, that's a good sign, all the parents are here. And then I looked to the left, and on the left, I saw kids with hoods up and chains and pipes. And I said to myself, this is a problem. So I turned around, and there was another adult who'd come out with me on the street, and I said, lock the gates, close them up. And she did, and I was on the outside. And I thought, that's not good. And then I looked over again, and I could see these kids were climbing over the cars, over the roofs of the cars, over the hoods, and then I could see one just crouching down. And I realized the others were chasing him. And I thought, my God, like, what do I do? And so I moved towards him, and he was coming between the cars and coming closer to me, and I'm moving between the cars, and then he slips by me, and I crouched down right where he was. And just seconds later, somebody jumped off the hood of a car and landed right in front of me, and I stood up, and I looked up. And he said to me, get out of my way. And for some reason, I said no. And he banged the pipe in his hand like this. And he said, I could hurt you. And I said, I hope you choose not to. And he just looked at me. And at that moment, the police arrived, and they started to move the cars. And I turned away for just a second, and I'm thinking, I hope I don't get hit now. But he was gone, and the moment passed. And what I think about when I think about that moment is the choice he made. And he could have done something very different. And my life would have been very different. But he didn't. For some reason, he didn't. And it reminds me every day that every choice we make matters. It may not seem like it at the time, but it does. And to have the freedom to make the choice is absolutely huge. And so when I think about Honor Society, and I think about Brewster High School, I think a lot about choice. And I know this has been a very difficult, challenging year in lots and lots of ways. But I know the choices that I have seen these students make have been extraordinary. And they're extraordinary in the way that they show compassion. So that, for instance, if I walk into the library during period 4, there's a senior working with a freshman in the mentoring group where we had some success. And then later on, I can see other students who are trying to set up a senior to seniors program where we would have our seniors going out and help senior citizens raking leaves and doing things like that. I think, wow, there's like such goodness in the world. There are so many great choices that people make. And I appreciate all of those things and I learn from them because that's inspiring to see other people do good things and make really good choices. So I wanted to share that piece with you. The other thing that I wanted to share was that we have at Brewster High School, because I am a history teacher, so you know, a little history here. The NHS students have done extraordinary things over the years that I've been here. And one of the things that came to mind is that the ways that they support one another, especially in times of challenge and difficulty. So Mrs. Wool was very close to a student named Jessie Ann Betcher, who had a heart transplant during her junior year, and she missed the junior prom. Mrs. Chalmers and I got a call from a student who said Jessie Ann had to miss the prom. What do you think we can do about that? And I said, I don't know. What do you think we can do about that? Are you thinking, like, what are you thinking? Are we gonna run another prom? And that's what they did. They ran a prom in August in the cafeteria. And they had this extraordinary moment where they wore the same gowns that they wore to the prom. Some of the guys came in tuxes, and the girl who was the queen of the prom showed up with her tiara and her sash, and she presented that to Jessie Ann. And I wanted you to know that's the kind of community that we belong to, and that's part of our heritage. And when we look at that, and I think of that moment, I think it is extraordinary. But there are so many small moments when extraordinary things happen. And I think of a moment in room 201, which many of you have been in, and we were talking about Rosa Parks and what happened on the bus and what it would be like to be on that segregated bus. And a Filipino student said, I've always wondered where I would sit on that bus. And there was dead silence in the room. And I looked over, and the student next to her on her right took her hand. And the student who was seated on the other side put an arm around her. That is who we are in this community. And then I think, lastly, of just a couple of years ago, we had a student, a first grade student, who had I guess it was a heart disease. And our seniors really embraced his journey. And they covered a whole front hall with little hearts that they made for Jimmy. They made quilts for him to present to his family. And Jimmy didn't make it. But when I hear from those students and I get texts, it's, have you been to see Jimmy's grave? Like, is someone taking care of it? And I think that is who we are as a community. And I am so proud to belong to a community like this with young people who have the courage of their convictions and are willing to make a big difference. So to the juniors, I want to say, you have big shoes to fill, but you belong to a great tradition here at Brewster High School. And just to point out to you, both Mrs. Ramirez and Mrs. Flanagan are members of National Honor Society themselves here. And that tells you something about who we are and who we can be. And I would also like to invite you to fill those shoes with all the creativity and energy and intelligence that you can bring to it. But to the seniors, I would like to say thank you for creating such great memories for all of us, because they don't belong just to me. They belong to, I know, my whole department and so many of us on the faculty. And lastly, I would like to say thank you very much to all of you who are here, but especially to the parents for allowing me to be part of your children's journey, because there's nothing more precious than that journey. Thank you very much.
So we're going to begin introducing our honorary inductees for the evening, so I will go first. I have had the pleasure, nay, the privilege of knowing Mrs. Kaufman throughout my entire high school career. In a world that seemingly is clouded in hatred, there is nothing more refreshing than to see someone who finds the good in other people. There have been days where I was stressed, frustrated, and even scared of whatever trial was ahead of me. And yet Mrs. Kaufman was always there ready to lend a helping hand and support not only myself, but any student with whatever challenge they were going through. She's been a role model and another parent to me. People at this school have been able to seek her out for guidance, support, and advice. She's one of the strongest examples of character that I can think of. Graduating this year, it is going to be hard to say goodbye to someone who has given not only myself, but so many others so much of her time and knowledge. I hope that after my time here is done, I will be able to say that I was able to make Mrs. Kaufman proud. It is my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Kaufman as an honorary inductee into the National Honor Society and thank her for her lasting impact that she has made and will continue to make in our community. At this time, I would like to introduce Nina Schilling, who will now introduce our next honorary inductee.
Anyone who has had the chance to take a class with her knows that she brings the perfect balance of smart and witty to the science wing every day. There's not many people that I can look up to, but Dr. Kozlenko feels all the requirements for a positive female role model. Intelligent and confident, but also kind and funny. She lets her students be creative and gives them fun hands-on opportunities to learn autodidactically under her guidance. As a final project, we were able to design our own physics-related gadget. My partner and I chose to make a little steam engine-powered boat. When it came time to present our little putt-putt boat in class, we brought in a blow-up kiddie pool and a full-length garden hose. We inflated the pool in class and placed it outside below the window of the second-story classroom we were in. By attaching the hose to the window of the classroom sink, stringing it through the classroom, and hanging it at the window, we were able to fill up the little pool. We could then present to the entire class the way our little boat could motor around in circles. I tell you the story because it made me realize what a great teacher Dr. Kozlenko is. At the time, I took for granted the freedom we had in class to create our own elaborate setups to demonstrate physics concepts. But now I can fully explain to you how and why a steam engine functions, and will be able to do so for the rest of my life. Through triumphs and failures, the first-hand experience made learning exciting and memorable. I consider AP Physics to be my favorite class. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't exactly because physics was my favorite. Sorry, Dr. Koz. But it was because once I entered her classroom, I felt that I was in a class where the teacher truly loved her job, and her students really respect that. Even though I don't have her as a teacher this year, her door is always open during free periods to chat, whether it's about school or just stuff in general. She's someone in this building that I feel like I can trust and always come to talk to. I'm honored to induct one of the most brilliant, tenacious, and in general, awesome people I know, Dr. Kozlenko. At this time, I would like to introduce Brendan Brooks, who will introduce our last honorary inductee.
Hi everybody, just came from a baseball game. This isn't how I normally dress. I first met Mrs. Wool last year in my English class. She had a smile on her face and told us that she was a junior too, because she was retiring in 2 years. But she was going to enjoy the last years of her teaching career, and I think she did. It's not going to be easy for her to walk out of the school in June after the final bell rings. She loves Brewster so much, and the school loves her for everything she has done for it. Even though not everyone here tonight has had the pleasure of getting to know Mrs. Wool, they have experienced her contributions to the school with her leadership with the challengers, and among other things. She works tirelessly to help each and every student at Brewster. Mrs. Wool has the ability to make pretty much anyone smile. I think it's her endless positivity and her sense of humor. At the end of each week, Mrs. Wool likes to do something she calls Leave 'em Laughing Friday. She picks a cheesy video and puts it on at the end of class. It was usually Ellen. It's a way to wind down after a long week. Her ability to connect with students is something very few teachers have. If you haven't had the chance to get to know Miss Wool, or even just have a conversation with her, I suggest you get on that before she retires. Getting to know Mrs. Wool even a little bit would be worth your time. Mrs. Wool has been a part of the Brewster family her entire life. She graduated from Brewster High School and has taught here for the last 33 years. I think that her induction tonight is a fitting end to such a tremendous career. It's my honor to introduce Mrs. Janine Wool as an honorary inductee of the National Honor Society in 2018. At this time, I would like to introduce Teresa Carlin.
Hello everyone, my name is Teresa Carlin and tonight I will be speaking about the invited guests of this year's induction. Before I begin, I would first like to congratulate all of the inductees. Each and every one of you are here tonight because of all the time and effort you all have put into your studies, your extracurricular activities, and your involvement in the community. All of you deserve to be here. Now, I know that none of you have reached this stage of your lives alone. There are others who have assisted you along the way, whether they have guided you in your lives, or have worked closely with you, or have, in turn, been the focus of your hard work. They have in some way played a vital role in your presence here tonight. They could be teachers, they could be coaches, they could be friends, they could be anyone who impacted you deeply. In any case, all of them deserve to be recognized for our appreciation towards them. Without you, we would not be as determined, as successful, and as empowered to face our challenges in the future. You all have our most sincere thanks for the considerable influence you have had on our lives and for the time, effort, and dedication towards us. At this point, I would like to ask that all invited guests please stand up and be formally recognized, and so we can give you all a great round of applause. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce Victor Diaz, who will now introduce the registry.
Good evening. The registry book is a record of the recent students that have been inducted into the National Honor Society here at Brewster High School since the year 2000. And next, it is my honor to introduce the president, Keegan O'Connor, who will begin the induction of our new members.
We will now begin inducting the new members. Emily Alts. Rhiannon Augustine. Brianna Barbosa. Brendan Barrett. Amy Barrios. Jean Basiletti. Carly Beach. Megan Beal. Olivia Berardi. Alexander Bertone. Sarah Bersari. Brianna Brennan. Brian Cabiotti. Erica Caruso. Victor Kai. Sierra Cervantes. Caroline Cherubini. Angelia Consolado. Florence Cuomo. Catherine Delphi. Natalie DeMarco. Maggie DePauli. Harrison Dignan. Colin Deneen. Kristen D'Onofrio. Olivia Fedio. Patrick Fian. Anthony Fago. Brendan Fox. Julia Giardina. Alex Goldberg. Kane Gonzalez. Akshay Gupta. Cameron Hart. Josh Herman. Patrick Hirschkel. Eleanor Keith. Lauren North. Isabella Kolar. Artem Krasnicki. Irene Kubinek. Ong Lama. Sarah Lloyd. Madeline Majette. Kylie Michaels. Maya Milan. Andrew Mitchell. Alfonso Mora. Olivia Marini. Arbor Mishkolai. Maria Najjar. Patrick Nevin. Amanda Ostuni. Layla Pagan. Yasmin Peralta. William Peterman. Jenna Pinzer. Haley Radijak. Aaron Renzi. Sarah Ricard. Amy Rodriguez. Laura Rodriguez. Charlie Russell. Nicholas Santangelo. Christiana Santucci. Brianna Sage. Jane Cinta. Colleen Stapleton. Kristen Stefanik. Rachel Thompson. Ankita Thuma. William Whitney. Marissa Zarelli. Rory McLaughlin. I would now like to invite Dr. Henning Piedmont to lead the inductees in the oath.
Could you please raise your right hand? And repeat after me. I pledge to maintain high scholastic standing to endeavor intelligently and courageously to be a leader, to give of myself freely in service to others, and to hold as fundamental and worthy an untarnished character. In doing so, I shall prove myself worthy of a place in the National Honor Society. You are duly inducted. You may extinguish your candles and please return to your seats. Good evening again to students, their families, teachers, and administrators. First and foremost, congratulations to the 74 students who are our newest inductees into the National Honor Society and the 3 honorary inductees into the National Honor Society. I want to thank the National Honor Society advisors, Ms. Flanagan and Mrs. Ramirez, for working with the students during the year to arrive at this momentous occasion. This is an achievement that symbolizes the many hours that these young people have dedicated to being student scholars and serving their community through honorable deeds. You have earned your seat here in this auditorium and have now obtained a designation that is yours to keep for the rest of your lives. You join the ranks of dozens over the years who have obtained this recognition, which includes authors, scientists, politicians, artists, athletes, and innovators, and some notables such as our 38th president, Gerald R. Ford. As you plan your future to enter into a global, innovation-centered world, that the attributes that make up the tenets of the National Honor Society, scholarship, leadership, service, and character, will find partners with other cognitive, intrapersonal, and interpersonal skills such as adaptability, creativity, innovation, intellectual openness, collaboration, conflict resolution, perseverance, and civic responsibility. These skills are part of our vision for you as a student in Brewster and are embedded in our profile of a graduate. We want students to take intellectual risks without prompting from us and apply logical reasoning to solve problems in real-life situations. Communicate and collaborate effectively and confidently to accomplish a common goal or to acquire information needed to complete a task or a goal. Bring courage to unfamiliar situations and view failure as an opportunity to learn. Contribute to and make a difference in the life of your community, and persist when faced with a challenge until the goal is met and the task achieved. In the widely read book, Most Likely to Succeed, Preparing Our Kids for the Innovation Era, Tony Wagner and Ted Dintersmith define a compelling vision that students should consider. The purpose of education is to engage students with their passions and growing sense of purpose, teach them critical skills needed for career and citizenship, and inspire them to do their very best to make the world better. This is a noble expression of our aspirations for you and what we want for all students. We want you to use the talents that got you your seat here in the auditorium for the ceremony, to continue your spirit of leadership, caring about others, and improving your community. We want you to be the generation that changes the world through your creativity, innovative spirit, your sense of social justice, and compassion for others. These attributes will always be what reminds us that our common good will be the impetus for how we will transcend those things that challenge our humanity. So students, please remember these simple parting words of encouragement from Dr. Seuss. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Congratulations, students.
Hi again. This is the last time, I promise. I know all of you want to get home, so I will try to keep this as brief as I possibly can. I would first like to say congratulations to all the new inductees this evening. You have all worked very hard to get to this point, but as you know, your work does not stop here. As of right now, this very moment, you're required to complete 20 community service hours and 10 tutoring hours. I know it sounds like a lot, but you'll find it's easier than it sounds. Being a part of this organization means that you are the best and brightest that BHS has to offer. You'll be looked at as a staple of an ideal student, and teachers and administration will look to you with a higher standard. How you choose to make your impact on our community is now in your hands. All eyes are on you. And how will you make your mark? I wish you all the best of luck with the task that awaits you, and I know all of you will do your best to contribute to this organization. Thank you all for coming, and have a safe day.